Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this channel, we will be talking in detail about AWS cloud computing with respect to DevOps. We'll go through the theory, practicals, and project deployment in this tutorial. So let's start with the day one without wasting the time. So agenda for the day one: infrastructure, traditional data centers, cloud data centers. Why cloud? Why not on premises? Drawbacks of traditional data centers, services offering the cloud. So we look into each point in detail. What is AWS? AWS is a cloud computing. What exactly cloud computing? What we do in the cloud computing? We'll see in the next slide. So actually, cloud computing helps to manage the infrastructure. So infrastructure is nothing but server, databases, networking, security, storage, etc. comes into the infrastructure. All this together is called an infrastructure. So everybody will have a big question in their mind. Do we require any prerequisites to learn any of the cloud? There are no prerequisites required for the to learn any of the cloud. But when you are working on any databases in any of the cloud environment, then we would require the DB skills to write the SQL queries to retrieve the data from the databases. But Linux basic commands is very must for any cloud. So we look into it once we start with the DevOps. I'll start posting the DevOps sessions coming from the next week onwards. We would need some networking basic skills like networking, subnetworking, routing, and firewall. So we look into this in the third session about the networking as well in a detail. Before getting into cloud, we should be aware that what exactly the data center and traditional data center is. So let's say the data center has, cloud data center has come into existence from the 2012. Before that, also we have the applications and we are following the traditional database data center approach. So what exactly the traditional data center and what we do in the traditional data centers, what are drawbacks of the traditional data centers? We look into this now. So earlier, servers, databases, networking, security, etc., are maintained in the traditional data centers. So traditional data center is nothing but, for example, I have a small scale industry or organization where I have to set up my own data center. So in that case, I should have a physical room allocated for the data centers and I should have all the equipments. Then I have to place the order for the equipments like racks, cables, AC, power backup, because power backup is nothing for the generators. Because as soon as the power goes off, the organization has to run so that we should have the power backup as well. So we have to place all this, then we have to set up this. So in order to set up this, we should have hire the manpower as well. We should hire the employees as well. That requires the admins, again database admins and electricians, even the everybody. It requires a huge manual power as well, and so it is time consuming and it is very costly as well. So a data center to set traditional data center is not so easy. So that's in where the cloud data center has come up. So uh, before getting into what is cloud data center, let's see what exactly infrastructure is. So in order to build any of the application, let's say Amazon.com is an e-commerce application. In order to get this application into cloud, we should have the servers, database, networking, security, etc. On top of this, so in the servers, we deploy the application. So let's say Amazon.com. So if you see here, this is the Amazon.com. So this e-commerce application will have the images and the prices as well as the product information. So these are all information is coming from the servers itself. So this information is stored in the servers, and from as soon as we click on any of the product, it will give us the information about the product and the price and various styles, availability, and why not every information will be provided in this UI for the users. So this information we retrieve from the servers itself. So servers is the main point for the for any of the application to get started. So as I told you, in order to set up any application, we would need servers, databases, network, security, etc. So all these will make an application that is, for example, from my end, I can say Amazon.com. So traditional data centers, as I told you, it is time consuming and costly. So for that, it gave an revolution for the cloud data centers to come up with. So the data center size varies depending upon the number of servers that we are using. Let's say For example, I'm using the 100 servers, so the data centers will be very less. And if let's say the users have been increased in my organization, so at that time, during that time, we should have the data center size also increased. So that means the data center is directly proportional to the number of users or the servers. So this is how the data center actually looks like. See, these are the racks that we have in the data centers, and the cables for CPU, RAM, and hard disk, and for the databases, network, everything is stored into these cables, and they are interconnected. So there should be a manpower as well to maintain these data centers continuously without any disturbance, so that the business has to keep going without any disturbances. So as I told you what exactly that we have it here. So this is what information that we have it. This is what information that I want to show you there. So to set up data center of our own, it will consume a lot of time and cost. So and need to have more manpower as well. So they have come up with the cloud data centers. So in the market, we have like cloud data centers like Amazon, Microsoft as well, Azure, GCP, Google, and Oracle. So they have started their own data centers, but they with the huge data centers. But after their utilization, they still have the servers are still remaining with them. So they come up with an idea, why can't they rent it and lease it so that it can be used by any of the users, like customers, for the small scale or large scale industry, like me, like when I'm starting with the small scale organization. So then I can go with the get rented from the Amazon. That is AWS cloud computing. Then all the infrastructure will be taken care by them. Infrastructure, as I told you, it will have the servers, databases, networking, security. Security involves even firewalls and the storage, everything. That will be maintained by the AWS itself. So we don't need to bother about it. It is their headache that they have to manage it without any disturbances 24/7. So this AWS or any of the cloud is just like a pay as you use. For suppose we have used for 100 GB, so we'll pay only for the 100 GB. Let's say that you have used for 1 TB or 2 TB or 3 TB. We pay only for the the amount of GB that we used. So that pricing and everything we'll see in the next session. And so the exact definition for the cloud computing is, cloud computing is on demand. On demand is a high availability. What exactly high availability, I will tell you in the upcoming slides. So high availability of computing resources such as storage and infrastructure as a service over the internet. So what exactly it means, the cloud applications can be worked only through the internet. So this internet again will have the gateways, public, private gateways for the IP addresses. That we'll see in the next upcoming networking videos. So it eliminates the need for the individual and business to self-manage physical resources themselves and only pay for what is. That means, so it eliminates like let's say I'm starting then. A small scale organization where I would require to set up an data center, but it eliminates to set up a data center for me. So I have then Google or Amazon or Azure, that is from Microsoft or Oracle. So I go to them. I'll have it for rented or for lease, so that I save the time and I save my manpower and I save the money, so that I can invest this into the business as well. So in our session, we'll be working only on the AWS. So, for example, the simple example to say on the cloud computing. So let's say if you want to live in any of the metropolitan cities, so we have like two options, either to get a land and build a house or get it into rent. So if you want to get into land, invest on land or buy the land or invest, again you have to invest on the land, again you have to invest on the construction of the houses, again you have to invest on the interiors, and again permissions to build the house, and also so on, like water connections, all approvals. But when you go for the rent, it just like come with your all the luggage and stay in a house and pay for the rent, like how many days you stay, for 30 days or 1 year, you pay it for that. And even you don't require any permissions, and even you don't require any interiors of your own. Use what they have already set up. So again, water connection, so you pay only for the water bill, like what you use. So this is the similar way that we see in the cloud computing. So you pay what you use it. So coming to again, like what exactly the services are available in the data center. So let's say I have each customer will have the different requirements as per their organization level. It might be small scale or large scale organizations. So the mainly services that cloud computing is offering is IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, PaaS, the platform as a service, SAS, the SaaS, software as a service. So we look into these three services in detail in next upcoming session. So let's see what is the names that we are using for the infrastructure in AWS against traditional data centers. So these are the names in traditional data centers, and these are the names that we commonly use in AWS cloud. So servers, AWS EC2. So what is AWS EC2? That is servers that we create in the AWS EC2. So let's see what exactly the EC2 is. Just a minute. So AWS compute service, access free. Sorry, my bad. AWS EC2 provides secure, reusable compute in the cloud, offering the broadest choice of processors, storage, networking, OS, and purchase model. So it exactly means, so you are creating an server. In that server, we can have the processor, storage, network, OS, and again you can install the applications as well. So that we are creating it in the AWS EC2. So let me show you how exactly. So you can go to the search bar in the AWS and give it ECS, and here you get the launch instance. The terminology we'll see it in the upcoming videos. What is the instance? It's everything. So launch an instance. So this is the instance, in the sense it is a server. So we'll give the names and we select the OS, and we select the OS and what type of OS it is, and we select the instant types, key pair, network settings. So we will go through each and everything in the upcoming sessions. In the same way, what exactly AWS RD2 is? So what is AWS RD2? So we'll see what exactly RD2 is. So AWS RDS it is, sorry. AWS RDS. So Amazon Relational Database Service is fully managed open source cloud database service that allows you to easily operate and scale your relational database. So in Amazon itself, in the AWS itself, we have the predefined databases, though we can use them. So if we don't have the database set up over there, then we'll see what exactly we have to do it in the AWS. So the next one is AWS VPC. So what is AWS VPC means? AWS VPC is nothing but so AWS VPC is a virtual network. So it is a network that we are creating in the AWS. So with data centers, if we have on-premise, if you want to connect any application from on-premise to the cloud, we have to set up an VPC, that is IP address, the private or the public, and we should have the intranet and internet gateways as well to access it from the on cloud. If you want to access the on-premise application to the on cloud, so we have to set up the VPC connections. That is called VPC. VPC nothing but the networks. What is IAM? What is AWS IAM is? So AWS IAM is AWS Identity and Access Management. So how it works with AWS Identity and Access Management, you can specify who or what can access service resources in AWS. So it is like fine grained. So let's say that we have the 100 users. In 100 users, who want exactly should access this application. So we can restrict them by using the IAM. That is the setting up the firewalls, and only the required people can access it, not everybody. So that we can do it in the firewalls. So we'll see like what each of them in detail in the upcoming sessions. So let's say that you have migrated any of one of the application from on-premise to cloud. So what exactly cloud? Why we need to go for the cloud? Why can't we get into the on-premise? I have told you two things already. And the next one is like, So the main intention, the people or the organization going into the cloud, that is they want high availability, security and scalability. High availability. What exactly mean by high availability in the sense? Let's say we have the all of a sudden the server goes down and and it cannot restart. So that is where the high availability comes picture. So that is what the customer is asking. Even the server goes down, he want the application to run. So that means we are getting this application installed in many in other servers as well. So as soon as one server goes down, it has to run from other server. It has to kickstart from the other server within a fraction of seconds. There should not be any downtime. That is what a high availability. The application has to run for the 24/7 without any failure. And the security in the sense, as I told you, only the required people, only the limited access, only some of the people can only access it. So we can set up the firewalls, and also we should not have the data breach or someone getting into our databases or anything into our application and getting the data out, data for them. So this can be eradicated by using the security. So we can set up the firewalls as well, so that only the required people can access it. So we can restrict the users. Scalability in the sense, let's say Amazon is one of our application, so we have deployed it to the cloud. So uh, in the next month, we suppose we today we have like 100 users. In the next month, for example, 100 users. In the next month, Amazon is rolling out the offers, so that during that time, the usage of the Amazon application will be very vast, and the users will be very peak, and the application will be used very in a very vastly. So that there during that time the load will be very high on the application. So in order to have the application response on time without any disturbance or without any lagging or without any browsing latency, so we go for the scalability. During that time, what we can do, we can increase the size of the servers and size of servers, that is the hard disk, RAM, and so all these can be increased. So we can do that in a mechanism. There is a mechanism we can do it. So as soon as the offer gets over, so it comes down, and we can reduce the scalability automatically. So we'll see that mechanism in the upcoming sessions. So this is so far that I have explained you on the traditional data centers. What is a cloud data centers? What are the services that are offering in the data center? I mean, cloud data centers. What is the high availability, security, and scalability? And why people are going into the cloud? Why can't then on-premise? So these points are I have discussed in this session. So next session I'll come up with the what are the services are offered in the cloud, like the IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. I'll give you detailed information on all of these three, and also like how creation of the AWS account and working on the AWS management console. And if possible, I also show you a network basics. We'll see in the next session. So if you have any queries, please reach out to my mail ID acsit_hub@gmail.com. Please do please do subscribe and like and share with your friends. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.